Okay. All right, man. Tell me your frustrations, man. Talk to me. I say they. So
Who did the work?
Two guys with it. It's not a company we contracted. That's just my stepdad, and it's two of his guys that work with him. And I just told them to come. I had them come over here. Well, what I had talked with is that your dad. What I talked with your dad about it's been 2 years ago, and we actually stood right. I walked over right through there. We stood like right over here. And what I talked to him about, he told me he did not want me to cut
Anything.
That's right. That's what he told me. And then we kept talking about it. And I said, I showed him a picture on my phone that I took, and I asked him what I could cut. He told me he didn't care if I cut some of the crap things, but not to touch no trees.
Yeah.
And nothing like that.
There's well over 17 trees cut down.
Well, what I meant
All right.
by trees
Now,
is
who did the work again?
Right
RM Tree Service, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
In Calera on Highway 86.
Yeah, that's my stepdad.
That's your stepdad.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to need to get them involved first thing Monday morning. Okay. I'm starting a criminal referral.
Okay.
What did you think was going to happen? Did you think that
Well,
just because my father died and my mother was moving out that now you could cut it?
No, sir. What?
Because let me tell you, for 20 years, we've kept this as wildlife habitat to grow deer, and that was the most important thing to my father, was that island not be touched. So I don't know if you got something written from him, but that's something he never talked to her about, talked to her about, and I know he would have, and he would have talked to me about it.
It was,
because this piece of property, right, is very unique. You've got some trouble here now.
Well,
we're going to have to get Alabama Power involved. We're going to have to get Fish and Wildlife involved, because that's a wetland that you cut. That's not. That is. There's water pooled all over that, and you're running through that spot that you just cut. So I don't know, we're gonna have to contact, what's your plan to fix this?
Well, what we had originally intended to do anyway was I had a bunch of cedar trees, what I planned on doing. When I say we, I mean like me and what I planned on doing.
So you're telling me that you were planning on planting trees on somebody else's property?
Well, that's what I had spoke with your dad about.
Right.
I told him I
now
was
on the phone yesterday, you told me that you thought it was Alabama Power land.
Yes, I did. What I thought was, when I had spoke with your dad before, was I thought that piece of property was just something that, he had endearment to, and that it meant something to him. I didn't know that. I've only ever talked to your dad twice.
Mm-hmm. And the first time was when you tried to cut it the first time.
No, I talked to him before that when we moved in.
Okay, well then the second time you talked to him was when you tried to cut it the first time.
Yes, sir.
And you've talked to him twice.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
That's right.
because now you told me you talked to him a third time.
No.
Just a few minutes ago, you told me you talked to him a third time.
Two times. Well, I introduced myself. I didn't talk to him. We just introduced ourselves. So I guess 3 times I've met with him, yeah. But I mean, it wasn't like we were, having a conversation. It wasn't nothing like that.
Okay, by Friday.
I mean, I do think
by Friday, I need from you.
Way overdone. I mean, that's not what. Especially when
it doesn't matter what they did.
Angle.
I've already flown over it. I've seen all of it. I've got measurements to it. I've got the trees that you took down, oak trees, 45-year-old oak trees. You realize you can't just go across there and start digging holes.
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, it's a crime. Not only did you trespass, right? And we'll get into the criminal mischief part of it, and we'll get into the trespass part of it, but what basically you have is a week. By Friday, I want an accredited conservation restoration agency who's accredited with the state of Alabama to have a plan to fix this.
Do you have any idea who that is?
You can go on the Wildlife and Fisheries website, and they got a list of about 60 different companies that are licensed to do this kind of work.
Okay.
But you've touched wetlands, you've touched private property, you've caused well over $60,000 worth of damage. Okay, well over. It would be $60,000 worth of damage if it was on this side of the waterway. Now that it's on the other side of the waterway, you've got multiple permits you've got to pull now, and you've got rules and regulations on how you deal with wetlands. In addition, you've compromised the sale of this house. Because now you've devalued this house and this property. And there's a dollar figure that's going to be attached to that. So do you have a lawyer?
No, I don't have one.
You're going to
I
need to
don't
get
have a
one.
lawyer. Okay.
And RM Tree Service is going to have to get one too. I do not want anyone setting foot on that piece of property. And as I said, you got till Friday to come up with a plan. Now, I've made 4 calls to RM Tree Service, and they're not calling me back. I suggest you have them call me back.
They're out of town. My folks are out of town visiting my sister in North Carolina, so that's probably why they're not answering you. So, but, okay. All right.
I need the names of the people who came and cut it as well. Now, I'll handle that with RM Tree Service because I know they've been in business for 39 years and they're a registered company. I've got all their registered agent information. So I'll start that process. Do you know the names of the 2 individuals?
No, I'll let you deal with that with them. I'm not gonna get them going if they're those guys' fault. I mean, they were just doing, like I said, they were just cutting down some bushes.
So-
So,
How do you want to handle the sheriff?
as in, what?
I mean, we're going to have to go talk to him. What's your work schedule like next week?
I mean, I work every day, so I don't have a schedule. I
In
work for
Birmingham?
myself, so I'm all over the world every day. Been to Summerton, Jasper today, Vestavia, Irondale.
All right.
So I'm all over the place every day. But I mean, we do whatever you want to do. I mean, if you need to send something to,
I mean, there has to be
Jazz
reports
as
made.
far as the attorney or
Yeah,
whatever,
I mean,
whatever y'all need to do is fine with me. However we need to handle it. You know, whatever the wildlife people say or attorneys say or the law, whatever the law says. I mean, I didn't realize that your folks on that. I really didn't. I do feel bad.
I find that
truly
really
feel
hard to
bad.
believe. If you talked to my
Bad
father,
about
he would have told you that that was his.
Well, I the way I took it.
And they
it
told
was,
you that it was theirs when you tried to cut it the first time.
No, I mean, I would. They didn't tell me. There
In
was a
addition,
guy here.
the whole Shelby County, the whole Shelby Shores neighborhood has sent multiple notices to everybody in this community that every island on this lake is owned by a private individual or Alabama Power. And if you thought it was Alabama Power's land, you know that's 10 times worse.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't know anything about any of that. No, like I said, they're just trying to trim down a few bushes.
No. Come here. You see that oak tree laying down over there? You see that oak tree laying down over there?
I do
See all those orange spots where they cut those limbs? See that big orange gash over there? You see that big pile of stumps right there? What on earth were you thinking, man? I mean, you literally jeopardized the sale of this house.
Well, I don't think that, but
Yeah,
I
you do.
apologize.
Yeah, you have. Because when somebody's going to come look at this house, now I got a big scar here.
I can get all that cleaned up.
No, you're
You
not.
don't want it. You don't want it. You don't
No, I
want
want
it
it restored to what it was original. It needs to be restored to original. Our plan, as part of the sale, was to turn this into a trust. A wildlife trust in perpetuity. And you know what that value is? It's a lot more than the value of that house.
I don't know anything about any of that kind of stuff, so I mean, I couldn't sit here and be like, oh, I know. what you're
Hundreds
talking
of
about.
thousands of dollars is what we're talking about at this point.
I-
You've reduced the value of this house. You've postponed our sale. I'm blown away, man. That you knew my father died. You saw us moving out, and you figured since we weren't here, you were going to cut this down the very next week.
It really wasn't like that.
Oh,
I didn't
well,
know that.
it was the very week after
I just
left
had
this
the
house.
consequence. I didn't know if she was here or not here. I had no idea. Yeah, I mean, I really didn't. That's why
You just decided one day you were I'm gonna cut off down somebody else's
we,
shit.
we had been talking about it for a while.
My father would never have
No,
agreed
not
to
when
that,
I
my
say
man.
we. I don't mean your dad. That's not what I'm saying. No, sir. I'm just saying, like, I had been talking to the guys about, hey, one day
Going on somebody else's property
Well,
and
I
cut it,
didn't-
and making
again,
sure
I
that they
didn't-
weren't here
no,
when you go do
no,
it.
sir. Wait until it was wintertime, not spring or summer when it's covered up with snakes. No, sir. No. I mean, that's my thing.
I-
I feel nothing but bad.
If I come over here and cut down all your trees around your house and just leave them there on the ground
Well-
and drag heavy equipment through there and rut up your yard and all that shit, you wouldn't be furious?
No, I completely understand, man.
We've been here for 25 years in this
Yeah,
neighborhood.
I didn't-
Everyone in this neighborhood knew that this was ours. It's deeded. You can go on Shelby GIS and look at it and see who owns it.
Yeah.
And you just decided to go on somebody else's property. Now, did you pay these people to do it or not?
No, sir. I
You
didn't.
did not.
No,
Okay.
no, I did not pay him.
Like I said, you need to go get on Wildlife and Fisheries, Alabama Department of Conservation's website, look at who they license with to do habitat restoration. This is going to need to be restored by somebody who's accredited, licensed, and bonded with the state. You're going to have to get all the approvals from Alabama Power. And I'm sorry, but this ain't going to be cheap because they got to get across this waterway. You know how much it's going to cost you to put a 14-inch oak tree across a freaking waterway and then dig it into a wetland? And then we're going to have a bond to make sure everything survives.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it, but I feel like shit about it. I feel bad. I don't know what else to say. I mean, whatever we got to do.
I think the answer is going to be I'm going to go find the people that can do this legally and just get it restored. And you'll have a plan by the end of the week. I think that's the only way we can get out of this without it getting really ugly. Do you have another suggestion?
I mean, I don't know enough about what you're talking about to answer you. Like I don't know enough about that. I mean, planting trees, and so I grew up doing that my whole life and doing that kind of work. What I used to do for a living. So as far as
Well, let me ask
stuff
you
like
this. Let me
that
ask you
goes,
this. Are you allowed to do any kind of construction work or anything like that in a wetland?
I don't know anything about wetlands, man. I don't know anything about a wetland. I
Do
would
you hunt?
no, sir.
Do you fish?
I don't even have a boat and boathouse. I've been on this lake one time my whole life. So no, sir, I don't.
But you just think it's totally fine to go on somebody else's property and start cutting stuff down?
Again, I really don't. I did not. That was not the intent behind it. Which the intent doesn't matter.
No, intent doesn't matter.
Intent
And as I
doesn't
said, if you thought it was Alabama Powers, that's 10 times worse.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that either. I really don't. And it was,
Do you know what the word trespass is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
So you thought it was okay to trespass on Alabama Powers property and cut down their stuff?
Well, I didn't think it would be like that. But
What did you think it would be like?
it was just
Did you
trying.
think people would come clap for this?
Well, if it was cleaned up, I think it looked pretty good with some trees planted out there.
Yeah, except for the 1/4 of wildlife habitat that's gone now and the erosion that's going to happen now that all the vegetation's gone.
Yeah, I mean, I did. My plan was to plant some trees
On somebody else's property?
Again, I didn't know that, man. That's what I'm telling
Yes,
you.
you did. You knew it was not your property,
Okay.
correct?
I understand that. Yeah.
You
I thought it
understand
was-
that is not your property.
I understand. Yeah.
Get a plan together, and I need to know what it is by Friday. Because we were going to put this house up for sale next week, and now we can't.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'll
I
some of the.
I would call your stepdad tonight too,
Okay.
because otherwise I'll be knocking on his door come Monday. And if they're still out of town, I'll be issuing a subpoena.
Okay. And you gotta do what you gotta do.
No, I think
Right.
you need to do what you need to do.
I mean, I want to.
What
work
you can
out
do
with
is
you, man,
prevent
but,
me
yeah.
from doing what I need to do by getting it handled.
I mean, if you told me what kind of trees or what you wanted out there, I would
It's-
do it.
Right. They're there.
Okay.
right? And it's not going to be a question of you doing it because that's illegal
Okay.
for you to do that.
Okay.
It needs to be somebody who's licensed to do the work.
Okay.
I'm not having, not only that, I'm not assuming the risk of you being on that island ever.
Okay.
I don't assume the risk of those two people ever that you hired or you had come do it out of the goodness of their hearts, which is actually worse than hiring somebody because now I don't know if you're covered by insurance. Because you've already admitted that you didn't pay somebody to do the work.
That's right. I didn't pay anybody to do it. So.
I mean, I've said what I have to say. I need a plan by Friday.
Okay. I'll make those calls. See
If
what I
you
can
need
come up
somebody, if you need somebody to go, when you get an appointment for somebody to come look at this, I need to know when they're going to be here, and I'll be here as well.
Okay.
Or I'll have a representative here
Okay.
because we're going to get an estimate as well.
Okay.
All I can say is I'm glad we didn't have this conversation yesterday. But that's insanely unacceptable.
It looks like shit. It needs to be cleaned up for sure.
And it needs to be restored to its original condition. And it needs to be bonded that will remain in its, that if anything happens, if you put a tree there and it dies, that tree will be replaced. It'll be replaced the proper way. Because I'm not having erosion, I'm not having that scar, and it needs to go back to the habitat that we've nurtured for 25 years. We've not let anybody get on that property, not even us. And we've got, you basically just took out a mama deer's fucking bed spot that she's been in. There's been a mama deer in that spot next to that clump of stumps for 25 years that eats so well and is in such good shape that she's been having triplets for the last probably 6 years. And you've just destroyed that habitat. And I know you don't care about it, you don't hunt, you don't fish, you've only been on the lake one time, you don't give a shit whose property it is.
No, I mean,
But I do. And so did my dad, and I guarantee you that he never had a conversation with you allowing you to set foot on that island and cut anything down, because he would have told my mother or he would have told me. And for 25 years, he's been very vocal to everyone in his community of what that island was all about.
Well, we'll get it fixed up. I definitely didn't mean any disrespect to your dad, for sure, your family, so.
That's too late. My mother's freaking heartbroken. She doesn't know if she needs to come stay out here and keep an eye on the place now till the end. She's crying all night because to us, it's fuck, the old man's dead, she's gone, I'm just gonna go cut the shit down so that I can have a better view of somebody's backyard.
Yeah, I feel about that. Whatever it's
That's what it is.
called. Well, it,
Doesn't matter what the reality is. The reality.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, man. I understand.
You didn't even. I mean, if you had this conversation with him that you say you had after he told you no, do not cut a goddamn thing on there before they came and started the work, why don't you come ask us?
I just had planned. We planned on doing it for like I said, for a long time. Didn't do it last.
No, you'd planned on doing it for a long time to someone else's property.
When I say we, I'm talking about. When I say we, I talk about the guys. Like that's
To go trespass on somebody else's property and not even tell the people that you knew had a concern there, whether or not you thought it was ours or you thought it was Alabama's, that we had a concern there and we had stopped you once before, and then you just sent somebody here while you weren't here and then don't even come in, not even to buy your leave or a, hey, we're going to be making noise tomorrow or any of that shit. You just said, I'm just going to go cut it down because there's nobody here. That's what we see.
I can see it looking like that too. Yeah, I can see that. I understand. I understand where you're coming from. I do. I understand where you're coming from. I do. I feel bad. I regret it.
Well, now you got to make it right, and there's only, and it needs to be done legally, and it needs to be to exactly what it was. And God help us all if fucking Alabama Power gets involved. I need something by Friday. Thank you. And I need to know who's coming out here and when they're coming out here to do this.
Your name is what again?
My name is Jason Coleman.
Coleman, okay. I don't hear real good, man.